Hello and welcome back to Bella Star Astrology. I'm your host and astrologer, Stella, and we're here to go over the August 2024 transits as well as the horoscope for your sign. We'll begin with the overall overview, and this month is going to be very interesting. Lots of new energy when it comes to what we're trying to do in the world, as well as maybe getting some clarification about what our thoughts are throughout this journey. This month brings really impactful beginning with August 4th. Venus enters Virgo, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo, and the new moon is present in Leo. So, what we're seeing here is that on a personal level, we're going to have a lot of these personal planets impact us. Seeing as Venus will be in Virgo, there'll be a lot more love, a lot more interesting times when it comes to what we're trying to accomplish, maybe some luck when it comes to our work life, our pets, as well as some interesting information coming to us from the Mercury retrograde. Maybe some battles you've been having internally to be able to go over them again, over the plans again, to see if they are right for you. And that new moon in Leo highlights how we are the stars, right? We're the ones who have to put our best foot forward. And if we hold ourselves back, even in retrograde, we might not get the results that we're hoping for. So always remember that that new moon in Leo is going to be connecting you maybe to a new plan you have to set out, maybe to some goals you have to set. Now, don't forget, of course, that the month moves on, and on the 14th of August, Mercury enters Leo in retrograde, and on August 19th, there'll be a full moon in Aquarius. Now, this is sort of giving the energy of the battle between your individual self as well as your external, what you've been trying to accomplish. So that full moon energy is just going to bring an end to maybe some of the hesitation you've had around the goals that you've been trying to make, or some of the friendships that are coming into your life. They might be better than the ones you've had before, or you might be looking towards new ways to connect with some of the goals and long-term dreams you've had, as well as that Mercury entering Leo in retrograde. We move from this information overload of Mercury in Virgo to sort of this idea that our minds are very much tied to our self-esteem. So maybe you're going to go out there and you'll be a little bit hesitant because of the fact that it's in retrograde, but remember to reinforce your self-esteem, remember to stay positive, and to look for ways for yourselves and for others to be pulled up. Look for ways to help everyone around you and to have some fun, of course. Then on August 22nd, the sun will enter Virgo. And that is the best time of the month to deep clean, to declutter, to look for new ways to help others, to serve. If you are not already a volunteer, maybe look for things to volunteer with. Also, purging, getting rid of some of the old stuff you have, while also helping others, of course. So look for ways that you can maybe give to the goodwill or to your local organizations, and maybe just not in terms of service. It could also be related to your work as well. I'll be highlighting some, efforts you've been making or efforts you need to make in the future in order to be more present or more supportive of your work and your teams. Then on August 28th, Mercury goes direct in Leo, and we're finally out of this Mercury retrograde buzz that's been going on. We've been contemplating how we give, we've been contemplating our esteem and how we hold ourselves, what things we consider to be good or fun, the things that we value. And now Mercury finally goes retrograde in Leo, bringing back that energy from earlier in the summer when Mercury was in Leo, and you sort of had more energy, more light, more fun. Go with the flow with this and definitely communicate with people about what the other things that you like to do, the hobbies that you have, maybe the ventures that you'd like to go into, whether that's work or not, or whether you can make something that's your, just a hobby into something that you can take further, right? Then on August 29th, Venus finally enters Libra, and we just see ourselves more sort of in this balanced area of our lives when it comes to love. Remember not to get too carried away and to really look at people, judge people that are coming into your life, especially your love life. For those of you who it does hit impact in their love life, make sure that you vet people because at the end of the day, that Libra energy can get really carried away because we want to see the best in people. But at the end of the day, we have to go to the nature of Libra, which is to judge and to measure and to see the good and the bad, and maybe to accept it, but maybe to not invite it into your life if it's not something that you want. So good luck this month. And now let's go to the forecast for the individual signs. Okay, Aries, I hope you're ready to go for this month. It's been a really interesting times all throughout the world, all throughout this lifetime, but on an individual level, Aries, this is going to bring a lot of changes when it comes to some of the work and experiences that you've been having at work, and especially with your health. You want to stay focused this month as the month really starts in your sixth house in Virgo, excuse me, on August 4th. Uh, Venus enters Virgo, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo. These two things are sort of giving you a big red flag like, hey, pay attention to me. Make sure you're putting your health first. Make sure you're relaxing. Make sure if you can go and get a massage, you do. Or if you're going and you're needing to maybe put a little bit more effort into work, you do. If you're asked to step up and you're asked to lead a project, make sure you do the best that you can. This is your time to shine. And while Mercury's in retrograde, you just want to make sure you double check everything. You check on the dotted line, any contracts you may go into or any conversations you may have, whether they're online, especially. But your communication has to be as clear as possible because that Mercury retrograde is going to lean heavy on getting you to maybe make an error or overlook something. And you just want to make sure every single detail that you take on, you're putting your best effort in. Then, of course, on the same day, there'll be a new moon in Leo. This again is going to activate your fun, your excitement, and you might be feeling like, a tug of war between the obligations that you have when it comes to your sixth house, your work, your life, your health, and then the things that you really want to do. So maybe on the 4th, you also set goals to include the things that you're going to have fun with this month, the things that you want to highlight. Maybe your child is going back to school and you want to take advantage and do as much as you can with them this month. And maybe that day you can set the goal of the trip you want to take or the adventure you want to go on. And definitely look out if you are single and you're looking for someone. This is a great night to maybe meet someone, to go out, to get to know people outside of your normal environment, just because that new moon energy is going to highlight maybe a little bit more happiness, a little bit more joy, and bring and attract someone to you that you might benefit from some good auspiciousness that might come towards you. Good luck as well as maybe working on your self-esteem, empowering yourself to be better throughout this month, right? Then on August 14th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Leo. This, of course, is going to be such a fun time that you've already had all of these planets in Virgo. You've been overwhelmed maybe with a work or a health issue, and now comes some reprieve. This Mercury entering Leo is just going to step in, and maybe you'll be having some issues with understanding people or communicating with your partner, things like that. You want to just take advantage and be more meticulous. I know Leo is a fun sign. It's an interesting sign, but it also might make you re-energize or reevaluate your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, how you feel in this world, as well as maybe revisit some hobbies that you haven't really paid attention to. Maybe you like crocheting and you haven't done it in a while. You might see yourself falling into doing something that you haven't done in a while. right? And especially if it's something that you used to have fun with and maybe, used to love to go bowling and you haven't been in a while, like this is a great time to go and revisit that, right? But of course, like I said about all Mercury retrogrades, just be careful with electronics, be careful with your communication, especially when it comes to your self-esteem. You don't want to portray yourself in a bad light or have any miscommunication about your intentions with somebody that you're interested in, right? Uh, then there is the full moon in Aquarius on the 19th. And again, this might bring maybe an end to some sort of friendship issue that you've been having or to a friendship in general. Make sure you're paying attention to your friendships. Make sure you're giving them the light and the love that they need. Just because this full moon energy, especially with this, strong planets opposing in the fifth house when it comes to Mercury being retrograde, there might be some miscommunication that might lead to some conversations that you need to have with your friends. But of course, there could also be an end to a project that you've been working on, some sort of group activity that you had been doing throughout this summer. Some of you might be ending summer camp or ending summer programs, whether you're studying abroad or working and things like that. So just be focused on that and make sure you have the best time that you can. Then, of course, the sun finally enters Virgo, and we're just seeing ourselves just purge of all of the negativity, maybe, or all of the difficulty. Virgo, being just this very purified sign, wants to let go of maybe the old clothes that you've had hung on to, or the old habits that you've had, especially since it's in your sixth house. It could be that maybe you like start a new fitness journey, or you go on to look for new habits or practice new habits that might help you. But always stay focused on that idea that this is about making yourself, improving yourself. And the sun being here is just going to give you a little bit more vitality to get to those things. So, especially if you want to volunteer or work with others or help in your community, this is such a good time to usher those activities in, right? And maybe look for more ways that you can help others. Then, of course, Mercury finally goes direct on August 28th in Leo. Like I said, Mercury in Leo is really about this energy around your self esteem, around your friendships, or, well, not really your friendships because it's opposing your friendships. So maybe some difficulty that you had in your friendships that are maybe eased now that Mercury goes direct. Just be careful what you do while it's retrograde because you'll feel those ramifications. And then when Mercury goes direct, maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe you'll feel like you shouldn't have gone overboard with a comment you made or things that you've done just because it is opposing your house of friendship. But with in terms of your self-expression and the way that you're feeling, this Mercury retrograde could have given you really good insight into the things that you'd like to practice again. And now that it's direct, like take advantage. What did you learn throughout that time? Do something related to that. Like I said, if you used to like crocheting now, and you practice a little bit while Mercury is retrograde, keep going, keep at it. This is something that maybe your spirit wants to keep doing. And now that you've revisited, you can start the hobbies that you were doing before again, right? And then, of course, Venus enters Libra. Finally, we're out of that Venus and Virgo energy where we feel very like we must give back, right? That's the way we express, or rather, Venus is expressed in Virgo. Once it enters Libra, however, especially since that will be in your seventh house, it's going to be a lot of lovely things that come out of it. A lot of great time to be romantic, maybe with your partner. Maybe set up a date, do something fun with them. Look for ways for you and your partner to enjoy and live in the moment. And of course, do not forget to add to all of this that there are other partnerships that you may be in that you should really pay attention to, and they may have some luck while Venus is here, whether it's work partnerships, business. Make sure that you're putting your best effort because at this point this energy is really going to give you some insight into being able to do more. All right, that's a wrap on today's personal reading for your sign. Thank you so much for listening, liking, and subscribing. If you would like your own personal reading, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm taking clients now for their reading, as well as any questions that you might have about your love life, synastry readings, etc. So thank you so much for listening, liking, and subscribing. I hope you have a wonderful month of August.